Make Japan cool again. Hi, I'm your host Michihiro Matsumoto, anchor person for Musubi University, Japan. I'm not Sherlock Holmes. Neither, for that matter, my friend is not Dr. Watson.
No, I am Mike.
Shoot. Tell him where we're coming from.
I come from America. I come from Atlanta, Georgia, and I've been living in Japan for about 15 years now. And Matsumoto here is trying to help me understand Japan a little bit better.
Wabi-Sabi. Does that ring a bell? The Wabi-Sabi. Why I picked out this particular Wabi-Sabi words. I found it on The Economist magazine, March 13th, 2021. A guy called Jack Dorsey's split personality. And he talks a lot about Wabi-Sabi. Let's see what kind of guy he is with the help of my Dr. Watson.
Yes.
Jack Dorsey. What kind of guy is he?
Personally, I think he's probably one of the most evil people in the world.
Really?
Yes.
I thought he's a good person, but you think he's evil.
Yes.
What makes you think so?
I think Twitter and social media in general is evil. I think, no, it causes problems.
Well, that's a little prejudice. Not everyone is as stupid, as evil as you might think he is.
Well, no, it's social media has caused a very sharp increase in suicide attempts among young kids.
Really?
Because of the incessant bullying that takes place on social media. Social media is designed to feed people's egos by getting likes, by getting shares, by getting retweets. And when people can't achieve that, it causes depression. And so, yeah, I think Jack Dorsey wanted to create something for free speech, to allow people to share their views. But they have rigged the system to create an incredible problem.
You're talking generally on
Yes.
social media, social system, but not Jack Dorsey's personality per se. Here it says that
Yes.
he's a split personality because he's trying to bring together Twitter and Square. He's a creative genius, not evil, creating something. And I give him credit for using Wabi-Sabi, the key words he prefers to use to describe
Wabi-Sabi.
the kind of person he is, kind of things that he is working on, combining Twitter and Square. That's fascinating, isn't it?
Twitter and Square.
Do they mix?
No.
Twitter is a group of tech-savvy kids always trying to create something new that takes your breath away. But Square, what kind of company is this?
Square isn't it a mobile payment?
Payment. There you go.
I mean, I can understand why Jack Dorsey would want to integrate Twitter and Square, because he wants to make money. And it would be a good way of making money, but
You're kind of jealous of the kind of guy.
I'm not. Oh no! I'm not jealous of Jack
Oh
Dorsey.
yes, you are.
There's nothing wrong with far-fetched. I think, though, looking at what I see, the character of Jack Dorsey, he is someone who uses people for his own benefit. I think he has changed over time. When he first started Twitter, he wanted to do something good. He wanted to be able to provide voice to people who didn't have a voice. But if you look at how Twitter is made and the algorithms that run the website or the app, it is designed to suck people into Twitter and to live in Twitter. And I think it distorts people's minds. I think Jack Dorsey is very well aware of this, and he continues to do this.
You criticizing digitalization of society. It's not just Jack Dorsey.
No.
Say, you know,
Mark
he
Zuckerberg.
he represents analog culture in a sense, because the cash is a digital money. Cash. Look at Johnny Cash.
Yes.
He died poor. A little cash on his hand.
Yeah.
Cash. Had no cash.
No.
But cash means a lot in the age of analog.
Yeah.
And he uses, let me agree to disagree with you. Jack Dorsey is proud to say he is his kind of say stock theory or his pet theory is based on Wabi and Sabi. And the economist says Wabi-Sabi, the imperfection and transience are the two of the hallmarks of Wabi-Sabi. Two, imperfection. And anybody who wants to make it to the top seems to have a concept bordering on zero defect.
Yes.
You're not going to make any mistake.
No.
Make it perfect. Perfection is beautiful.
Yeah.
He says otherwise. Wait a minute, perfection sucks. Howard Hughes,
Yes.
he had a lot of money. He had a fling and play the field,
Yeah.
marrying lots of Hollywood beauties.
Yes.
And he died in misery,
Yes.
wearing a big beard.
Like Jack Dorsey.
Jack Dorsey. There you go. Jack Dorsey looks like him.
Yeah.
He didn't have a
He
long...
looks unhappy.
Really?
I think so. He looks tired and unhappy.
He looks like Howard Hughes.
Yeah.
Howard Hughes had a lot of money, fortunes, but wasn't able to live off the fortune he had acquired.
I think, going back to the concept of Wabi-Sabi, and I think in the West, especially in America, when you're rising up to the top, perfection, you seek perfection.
Yes.
But I think once people reach the top, they see perfection as a hindrance. And they abandon perfection and kind of adopt the idea of Wabi-Sabi. So I can see how Jack Dorsey is embracing the ideas of Wabi-Sabi because he is on the top. But I think someone like Howard Hughes continued to seek perfection. And that drives you to where Howard Hughes got dead, alone and broke. Because you can't reach perfection.
Alone and broke in the desert inn and way down south.
Yes.
And now, let me amplify on that. If you use the y-axis,
Yes.
y and x-axis, y goes up space-wise, visible. The higher, the better.
Yes.
And try to make it to the top. Chances are you will end up on top, lonely at the top, and then become wabi. Wabi is loneliness. And down below, the other axis called sabi. Sabi is not loneliness, aloneness. aloneness. You are lonely on your own, and you don't need women, you don't need money, you don't need reputation. You are on your own, like a little sluggish. But here, snails have lots of shell on their back, and that attracts my attention. Look, I'm higher than you. I have a beautiful, shell. And so they tend to look down on the people like slugs, sea slugs too. Nothing spectacular. But if you are happy with it, contentment, and he or she gets a lot of credit for being alone, being separated from the crowd. That's called sabi. Sabi. Oh, sabi is aloneness. The Zen master once said, loneliness is ugly. Aloneness is beautiful. Mark my word. Loneliness is ugly. Aloneness is beautiful. I'm alone. And that's Wabi-Sabi.
Wabi-Sabi.
Do they contradict each other? Yes.
Do they?
Beats me.
I mean,
loneliness at the top is lonely because you lost everything, your wife and money, and you're nothing.
And you're saying Wabi-Sabi, and I just, for some reason, I just pictured in my head Wabi as Bill Gates and Sabi as Warren Buffett.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Warren Buffett believes in value investment.
Yes.
Really?
I mean, just...
How can he possibly get to where he is now with the value-free concept?
Yeah.
So you think he's sabi?
In a sense, because here's a guy who's been living in the same house for like 60 years, off by himself. He's not very big in terms of like giving lots of interviews or walking around like, ooh, look at me, I'm Warren Buffett. He goes to, this little diner to go have dinner, cheap and everything. And whereas you have Bill Gates, who loves to be on TV, is constantly on TV talking about things and wants to be a celebrity.
And then he got to the point where, look, I'm way over midlife crisis. And the minute you begin to think, look, I'm aging disgracefully.
Oh, yeah.
You're going to turn around and look, I should have done this, I shouldn't have done that. You keep thinking about that. That gives a moment of a Zen sabi. Sabi. Oxygenation.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. Police my language.
Okay.
Oxygenation.
Yeah.
Oxygen. You have lots of hydrogens, and something has to give. The two hydrogens are fighting each other. Here comes the oxygen. Mama. Okay, cool it. So you gotta have oxygen.
Yes.
So with oxygen, the copper metal turns disfigured, discolored.
Rust.
Rust is good or bad?
It's looked as bad. I think
Bad.
it's bad. Yes.
Rust built.
Yes. Rust destroys.
For the Japanese, it doesn't destroy. It increases beauty, value, added. So Rust Town isn't rusty at all. In a sense, some people might get the natsukashi feeling. I was once there. I started at the bottom. I grew up with an environment like this. Give me a home. That kind of a natsukashi feeling has to do with wabi and sabi thinking, the rusticity, country hospitality, omotenashi of rusticity. And it doesn't have to be perfect environment, glassy, gorgeous, arrogant looking building. It turns everyone off. So Wabi-Sabi has to be humble, modest, and it the feeling embraced.
Yeah.
Howard Hughes didn't choose that way.
No.
What about Jack Dorsey?
Jack Dorsey.
He looks like a Howard Hughes, a Zen monk wearing a big beard.
I think Jack Dorsey embraced Wabi-Sabi, but I think he is...
Let me follow up on that.
Yeah.
You see, Steve Jobs kind of drifted into a rustic part of Kyoto and tried to indulge in Zen. So he learned a lot about the Kyoto, mystic, rustic beauty, aesthetic emotion is bordering on Wabi-Sabi.
Yeah.
And he created lots of things based on that concept. He made it sort of, although it's doubtful if he aged gracefully or disgracefully. Jack Dorsey, is he a man like Steve Jobs?
No, I don't think he comes close to Steve Jobs. I think,
Shoot.
I think a better way of saying it, I think Jack Dorsey wants to embrace Wabi-Sabi. I don't think he's capable of embracing Wabi-Sabi.
Why? What makes you think so?
I think he thinks himself too important a person. I think he has kind of appointed himself the moderator of the internet.
Suffering in grandeur.
Suffering and
Suffering.
Yeah.
Meaning he's in love with himself. It's more narcissistic.
Narcissistic, yes.
Steve Jobs wasn't as narcissistic.
Oh, Steve Jobs was a big narcissist.
He was. Even before he died, breathed his lives. It was beginning to have second thoughts about the body he has acquired. But Jack Dorsey might come close to that. I'm playing devil's advocate. Go on, keep on saying that. Because you're a tech-savvy guy. He understands his psyche a little bit.
Yeah.
So that's good. Let's have fun. Investors and Twitter. It's kind of a marriage of convenience.
Yes.
It's a pragmatic consideration. They can synergize two extremes, Square and Twitter. They're totally dissimilar, and yet for any pragmatic person, this works. This brings money.
Yeah. Money makes the world go round.
Makes the world go round. So it goes against the grain of Japanese emotional aestheticism called Wabi-Sabi. Pragmatism, Wabi-Sabi, don't mix.
Yeah.
So that's your opinion, philosophical bent.
Yeah. It doesn't. Because I remember when I was in university, I spent a summer working for my uncle in construction. And one of his clients was a very rich housing mogul guy. And he had us build a brand new fireplace. Beautiful, beautiful fireplace. A lot of work went into it. We finished it, we presented the fireplace to this guy, and he was like, "Oh, okay, that's beautiful. Now I want you to distress it." which is to basically you take a hammer and you go and you beat it to make it look old and rustic. And it's just like, why do you want to make it look old? You know, so it kind of maybe like a wabi-sabi kind of aesthetic to it. And it's just like, why do you want that? After all of that work, you have this beautiful fireplace and you want it to look like it's old. To me, it doesn't make a lot of sense.
That demoralizes artists.
It can.
Come to think of it, your story reminds me of Nikola Tesla.
Yes.
He made a lot of money, fortune.
Yeah.
And he gets a lot of credit, applause from everyone. But he died kind of unhappy, in misery, feeding pigeons on the rooftop, saying, "You are the only persons who understand me." He was lonely. He was a genius. And when someone asked Albert Einstein, given the definition of a genius, I don't know. You better ask Nikola Tesla. He's smarter than Edison, Thomas Edison, smarter than Einstein. And he died poor, sad and lonely. I thought this is Wabi-Sabi. Because you're my only friend to the pigeons. And he didn't touch a woman. He's made a lot of money, spent all the money on the future investment. That really grabbed my heart. I thought this is it, this is Wabi-Sabi. I like him a lot.
Yeah.
He's a mad fan of Nikola Tesla. Although a lot of people made money on Nikola Tesla. What's his name? Elon Musk.
Oh, Elon Musk. The Tesla, Yeah, I think that recently, Tesla has had a big resurgence of people who are big fans of Nikola Tesla.
Elon Musk, where did he make a resurgence?
Yeah.
He is too? Musk,
yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah, a lot of people are big fans of Elon Musk right now.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Are you one of those?
Somewhat. I mean, I like Elon Musk. I like what he's doing with his, I forget the name of it, but his spaceships and everything. SpaceX or something, but yeah. I don't really like Tesla, the car,
But Wabi-Sabi works.
It works.
In the mind of some people, not everyone. Some people, some means considerable number of people. And so you do not discredit the notion of Wabi-Sabi.
No.
But you are not entirely on the side of Jack Dorsey.
No. I don't
Your mind said so, your heart said so, your gut.
Yes.
Your gut said so.
Yes.
That's what it is. You're an intuitive person.
I think so.
You're an artist.
I don't like thinking.
Okay, you feel it. Get back to your gut feeling.
My gut feeling.
What makes you think that Jack Dorsey is a split personality, a split bipolar disorder? Sometimes he gets very happy, and sometimes he's unhappy, and sometimes he turns depressive, beginning to have suicidal tendencies. It just, you seem to be on the side of the Economist editor saying Jack Dorsey has a split personality, seishin bundetsu.
So I just think of Jack Dorsey's own words. It was recently released, I think it was Project Veritas released footage of Jack Dorsey talking about how Twitter is going to continue to pursue to ban conservative voices on Twitter. That they have to ban these people because they see them as a threat, and a threat to Twitter and a threat to America. But at the same time, Jack Dorsey is also talking about they need to move Twitter to the BitChain, which is this kind of encrypted part of the internet, where Twitter itself could not ban anyone from Twitter. It would be impossible to ban someone from Twitter if it moved to the BitChain. So
You're talking basically about core competence.
Yes.
Core competence, like a Tom Peters, the management guru, once said in his book about excellent companies.
Yeah.
Each and every company, worth its salt, has to stick to the close to the knitting and core competence. So Twitter has to abide by its own corporate philosophy in the company. Is that what you're talking about?
yeah, they have their corporate philosophy.
Corporate philosophy being that.
But he wants to create something where they can't follow that. It would be impossible for them to be able to follow.
Impossible.
Yes.
Says what part of you? Your mind, heart, gut. Your gut. Both. Your gut instinct tells you the two don't mix.
No.
Bad chemistry between these two. And Jack Dorsey's might end up losing both.
Yes. Yeah. So I think he's splitting himself into two different personalities.
That's very interesting. So let's talk a little bit about analog person and
Yes.
digitalized person, and is there any ways and means of putting them all together, back together again, so the digital analog must come together in the middle of the ring? Is that possible?
Yeah, I think so.
Let's further explore that next week.
Yes.
So we're going to come back to this, analog versus digital. Don't go away. We'll come back. Michihiro Matsumoto with Michael. Musubi University, Kuzuha, Japan.